So this is a subgraph. Now a subgraph is also a graph. So this is the parent graph. I recall, and H is the subgraph, where in the member of H, here it is S. No, it is not S. It is H. In this H, VH is a subset of V, and EH is also a subset of E. So H is a subgraph. So you can draw a graph with some of the members of the vertex set and some of the members of the edge set. Now this ensures that all the vertices and edges of the graph H are vertices and edges of the graph G. So we call it as if VH is equal to V and EH is equal to E, that means the graph itself is called the improper subgraph. Otherwise, it is proper subgraph. Okay. Next, this is the example of subgraphs. You know it because it has been given in the earlier class also. Okay. So I am not going into stick details here. Okay. Now, just how to construct subgraphs from a graph. Induced subgraph of the vertex set. So that also has been discussed in the last class. Again, I want to recapitulate it. Induced subgraph G on S. S is any subset of V. The V is the vertex set. So the vertex set is S there, but the edge set consists of all edges of the G. That means you have to take all the edges of the G. That means the edge set A will be full there, and vertex sets will be a subset of V. Then it is called induced subgraph on the vertex set. Similarly, induced subgraph of the edge set, where all the members of the any subsets of E. That means A is a subset of E. That means some of the members of E has been taken in A, but all the vertex of the V has also been taken. We shall show you later. And now by deleting some edges or vertex or both, you can form the subgraph also. Okay. Induced subgraph. This is a vertex induced subgraph. Suppose this is the graph. Okay. So these are the edges. 1, 2, 3, 4. All these are edge numbers. And sorry, vertex. And these are the edges. You see the graph. And here you look at this graph. This edge. So vertex.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Are you sharing the screen?
Yes, I have shared the screen.
Sir, we can see the screen, sir. Actually, the camera is off.
Yes, sir.
We cannot see the screen. Okay, let me see. Oh, I have not seen it. Okay. You should have told me earlier. Now you have got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, one more thing, sir.
What? Tell me.
Few of the guys from DSC Math are joining this class. This is a set class, sir.
So you have not got the earlier
Sir, a lot of guys from no, sir. A lot of guys from DSC course have joined this.
Okay,
it's a
no
sec
problem.
class, sir.
This is sec class. Yes.
It's not their subject, I guess. Yes. Yes.
If they can join it, but if there is no subject like in their syllabus like this, so they can omit it.
Yes, sir.
Tell them what is the use of joining.
Yes.
Is not it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think they don't understand the syllabus. Okay.
So they left now.
They left. Okay, no problem. Now see, this is the induced subgraph. This is the, now can you see all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now this is the induced subgraph. Okay. Now, this is the induced subgraph. Now, there are two types of induced subgraph. That is, one type is of induced subgraph that is by vertex, and induced subgraph by edges. So this is induced subgraph. Now see here, this is the graph. Now this is a subgraph. Here you see some of the vertex, that is number 2, number 1, number 2, number 1 has been deleted here. So corresponding edges also deleted, is not it? Number 2, 1, 2, 4 has been deleted. Okay. So this and 1, 2, and 4 has been deleted. So this vertex has been this deleted. So this edges also deleted. Now then 3 becomes an isolated vertex, but all the other vertices are there. Okay, and there other vertices are there, as well as the every edge in G with both endpoints in H. Read this one, this circle, in this circle. Okay, have you understood? But this is not the induced subgraph. Okay, so these are the examples. Here also, this is the graph, and this is the induced subgraph. 1, 2. So this edge, this is removed. Then V5 is there, and V6 is there. Okay. So V1 and V6, this connecting edges has been also been deleted. So this is edge induced. Okay, and this is vertex induced. Next. Okay, now this is a graph. This is edge induced graph. Remember the definition of the edge induced graph. Edge induced graph here, and this is vertex induced graph. So remember the definition, and this is the node. Node means vertex induced subgraph. Okay, so these are the examples. You check it. Now deletion of edge and vertex on both from the graph. Okay, suppose this is a graph, and G minus V2 is this graph. So V2 has been deleted. Okay, so this is a subgraph. G minus V1 and V2. So V1 and V2, V1 and V2, V2 has been deleted. So this is the graph. Okay, and V3 has become isolated graph. Okay, so this is the deleting of vertex. Then deletion of edges. Here you see, this is the vertex. Edge deletion. The graph obtained by deleting edge. You see, this is the graph. Now delete edge, E. Okay, and contract E. We'll get this graph. E is this edge. So G minus E. This curved line is E, and this is contract E. That means G also deleted. That is contract E. So contract means these two are merged, and E has been has become a parallel edge. Okay, loop. So this is called edge deletion. Okay, addition of vertex or an edge to a graph. Let this is the graph. And let V does not belongs to V. That is, V is an outsider vertex. We can construct a subgraph of G by adding this vertex V to G. So G union V. This is the graph. Now with this graph, the V has been, here is V. So if you introduce this graph, is G union V. Now this is denoted as G union V. It has the vertex set V. When we add one edge, E7 here, you add one edge between V5 and V3. Okay, you add one edge. Then the E set is like this, but with the same vertex at V. So this is called addition of some edge here. Join of the graph G and a vertex. It is denoted G plus V. So for all, G plus V is a super graph. Super graph means this graph, super graph means this is the graph G and this is G plus V5. V5 has been added. So a super graph, this is the super graph of G. That means G is a subset of this graph. Okay. So in this way, now see, V has been added in such a way that is added, it is joined with all the vertices. Now this, only this type of graph is known as the super graph of the original parent graph. Now this is important concept schemes. Actually I should start from here today. Okay, let G is a graph, then the graph H is this graph, that is subgraph, is called a spanning subgraph. Why? If V is equal to VH, that means the number of vertices in the V and VH are same. So all the same vertices with G, but the edge set is contained in, let's say, it is a subset of the set E. The spanning subgraph of a graph G is a subgraph. It is a subgraph. And this is constructed by edge deletion because number of edge is less than the number of edges in the original graph. So every spanning graph G is called a factor of G. It is a factor of G. Okay. So let S be any set of edges not belongs to E. So S does not belongs to E. Now, analogous to the set S of the graph, we may construct a super graph denoted by G plus S. G plus S, that means one edge has been added with the edge set of the G. Then that is also a super graph. Okay. And so this spanning subgraph, you are having a lot of things here. Now see, this is a VG and EG and VH and EH. Okay, let's see here EH. EG means graph edge set of this graph, you see here, and VG means edge, vertex set of this graph V1, V2, V3 and V4, and VH is this graph. Okay, this. Now VH is V1, V2, V3, V4, same, but EH is contained in EG, and this confirms that H is a spanning. So this one is a spanning subgraph of this one. Okay. Now another mathematical concept. Let G is this graph, be a graph, and let H1 is VE1 and H2 is VE2, these two spanning subgraph. Okay, then we can find a spanning subgraph of G. Here it is a mistake, of, it will go off. Having edge set as this symbol is something new, E1 capital delta E2, where E1 capital delta E2 is known as symmetric difference of E1 and E2. Now, how this symmetric difference is defined? The symmetric difference of the two spanning subgraph G is given by this relationship. We have E is the set, and E1 is equal to this, and E2 is equal to this, let. Then E1 minus E2 is E2 minus E2 and E7. E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, E7, and E1, E3. So so just omit the common element. You will get E7 and E2. Okay, E2 and E7. But here E1 is there, so omit. E3 is there, omit. E6 and E8, all omit. Okay, and E2 minus E7. So E2 minus E7 is from here. You just, which one is not here? E1 is there, E2, E3, E7, E8. So you have to, it is only E2 minus E1 is E8. Okay, remember this. E1 minus E2, so E1 minus E1, E2, there is no E2, then E3 minus E3, so 0, E4 minus E4 is 0, E5 minus E5, but you cannot, okay, then E6 minus E6 is 0, and E7 is not here, so E7. That means E1 minus E2, in E1 minus E2, you have to omit those elements of, you have to keep those elements of E1 which is not an element of the set E2.
স্যার
Yes,
স্যার
tell me.
বললাম যে হ্যাঁ E1 থেকে E2 বাদ দিলে
হ্যাঁ,
তো
তুমি
E-
না
কেমন?
E1 থেকে E2 বাদ দেওয়ার, এই দেখো ডিফারেন্সটা এখানে। E1 মাইনাস করা নয়, কিন্তু জাস্ট সেই এলিমেন্ট গুলোকে আমি রাখবো, those elements I will keep which are there in the E1 set but not in the E2 set.
ওকে স্যার
Understood? And in case of E2 minus E1, we shall keep those elements of E2 which are not there in E1, and rest
Okay,
will
sir.
be
Okay, sir.
rest will be omitted. Okay, this is the difference meaning. Now this one is this union this. Okay, so E2, E7 and E8. So this difference is very important. Remember this. Okay, now E1 minus E2, E1 is get preferenced, and E2 minus E1, E2 is get is preferred, and here E1 is preferred. Remember this. Whatever there is a 0 or E1 minus E1, it is not in that way. If it is both, omit it. But it is here, it is not here, so keep this one. And it is 7, it is here, keep this one, and rest omit here. But in case of E2 minus E1, you have to give preference to this set. E8 is the only element which is not here, so keep it. Okay, E1 is there, then E3 is there, E4 is there, E6 is there, so we are not concerned. Only thing that E8 is not in E1, so keep it. Then construct these two. Okay, this is the, it is to be noted that H1 capital delta H2 have no common edge and is a combination of two discrete graphs. So have you understood? I think this is the meaning. So spanning subgraph, we can find the spanning subgraph has V as the set, same, and this is the edge set.
So what does delta define?
Delta defined is here. You see the spanning subgraph of this V and E. Okay. So delta is defined like this. This one. This is the definition of delta.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Next thing is that I have done it here. This is the V, and this is H1, and this is H2. Okay. So this is the spanning subgraph. You see V1, V2, V3, V4, and V5. Here also see V1, V2, V3, V4, V5. Only edge set is different. Here also V1, V2, V3, V4, V5. Only edge set is different. But E1 intersection E2, E1 and this capital delta E2 is this set. Is this set? So here V1, V2, that is E2, E2, and V4, it is E7, V4, V5, V4, and V5, E7, and V3, V5, E8, V3, V5, V3, V5, E8. Okay. So these two are discrete graph, but this is as a whole is H1. What is the name of this? Symmetric difference. Symmetric difference. So this is nothing but symmetric difference of H1 and H2. Okay. So if you find out, if there is a question, find out the difference between the symmetric difference between the two graph, then actually these two are subgraph of spanning subgraph of G. Okay. And E1, this symmetric difference of edge set, you have to find out. Symmetric difference of edge set. And how to find the symmetric difference of edge set is here. Okay. So this is the now this concept, union and intersection of graphs. A is a graph A1 and A2. Then the union and intersection of the two graph is denoted by this figure. What is this? That is union of, in union, it is the union of the vertex set, and it is the union of the edge set. And similarly, intersection is there, union of the vertex set, intersection of the vertex set, and intersection of the edge set. Now, another mathematical quantity is ring sum of graphs. So these are two graphs. Now see, this may be the subgraph of a single graph, may not be a subgraph of a single graph. Okay, and they're simply two graphs. Then ring sum is different, and it's noted. Its notation is like this: A1 is plus with a encircled circle. Okay, is nothing but this one and this symmetric difference. So edge set is the symmetric difference of the edge set of these two graph, and vertex set is the union of the two vertex set. This difference. So there may be a question like this: find out the ring sum of these two graphs. You will get it. Then maximum and minimum degree of a graph. Now you know what is called degree. Degree is nothing. The minimum degree is nothing. The number of edge connected with the vertex, number of edges connected with vertex. Okay. So each vertex have, recall the definition of the degree. Okay. Now degree of the graph is a number. It may be is a number, and degree of a vertex is number of edge connected with the vertex. The minimum and maximum degree of a graph denoted as this dv. dv is the degree of a vertex and v belongs to v, so it is the minimum degree. Okay, now degree may be in a graph, maybe degree of a vertex may be different numbers, it may be odd numbers, it may be even numbers. Okay, but which one is the minimum? That is called the minimum degree of the graph. And maximum, which has the maximum degree of a vertex, is known as the maximum degree of the graph. For a simple graph means it has no parallel edges, no loop. Then graph, so it may have this relationship. Okay, degree of each vertex is a simple graph. If it is a simple graph and connected, all vertex are connected with each other, then maximum degree will be n-1. And if it is not a, if the isolated vertex, so its minimum degree will be 0. It cannot be a negative number. Okay, so now we are going to discuss now maximum and minimum edge. Now suppose here is another calculation. You see this calculation. This is a graph G1 and this is a graph G2. Okay, so G2 has vertex at this and E2 has vertex at this. Similarly, G1 has vertex at this and E1 has edge set like this. So G1 and G2. So E1, here it will be 1. E1, symmetric difference of E1 and E2 is nothing but this. We calculated this, it is like this. Okay. Next is V1 union V2. This one. V1 union V2. So this is the V1 set and V2 set. So union you can easily do. So ring sum is this graph. Ring sum is this graph. Okay. You have to draw the graph. You have to draw the graph of the ring sum of the graph. So here it will be G1. So these two are here, E1 and G1. These two are mistakes, you just correct it. Okay. So the question may come, let graph G1 is this and the graph G2 is this, but no figure. So find out and draw the graph G1 ring sum G2. Okay. So you have to draw G1 from this data. Now you have to remember what is E1. E1 is connected. E1 is the edge between V1 and V2. Then E2 is the edge between, and in this way you have to remember. Okay. Similarly, you have to draw this graph. Okay. On this rule, you have to draw this graph. On this rule, you have to draw this graph. Then you have to find out the G1 ring sum G2, which is nothing but this edge set and this vertex set, and you have to draw the graph according to the rule. Okay, so this is the answer. Next, complete graph. A simple graph G is said to be complete. Now remember this word complete. If every vertex in G is connected with other vertex of G, that means this vertex is connected with all the other vertices. Similarly, this one. All the vertices are connected with the other vertices. Then it is called a complete graph. This is called a K7 and it is denoted by Kn. N is the number of vertex. This K5. Okay, that's very easy to remember. Now, a bipartite graph. A graph is bipartite. Remember this. It can be partitioned into two distinct subsets, V1 and V2. ABCD is a graph. So A and B, A and C, and B and D. It can be partitioned. Okay. There is no edge in G which connects either two vertices. Okay. There is no edge in G which connects either two vertices in V1 or V2. Okay. Now this is the bipartite graph. So edge set connects a vertex in V1 and a vertex in V2. But there will be no vertex set here. Okay. No edge between these two. That is called bipartite graph. Okay. So here V1, V2, V3, V4, U1, U2. These are connected. But these two are not connected. This is called bipartite graph. Here also, you see V1 is connected at 1, 2, 3, 4 with all. V2 is connected with all. This full connected graph. So a bipartite graph has been connected, has been converted to a full bipartite graph. And it can be connected by means of a linear transformation. Okay. But that is not included in your syllabus. Next.
Sir,
Yes.
Sir,
But
আগের পেজটা উল্টা নাকি? হ্যাঁ স্যার, বললাম যে এটা না স্যার, পরে না পরের পেজটা যেটা পড়াচ্ছিলেন আপনি, নিচে হ্যাঁ এটা। তো স্যার বললাম এই যে একদম লেফট সাইডের যে গ্রাফটা আছে ওটা লেফট
না
লেফটে
এইটা না, এটা ইকুয়েট না, ইকুইভ্যালেন্ট।
ওই তো ইকুইভ্যালেন্ট এটা
ইকুইভ্যালেন্ট মানে এটার থেকে এটাকে কনভার্ট করা হয়েছে, এই দুটো মুছে দেওয়া হয়েছে।
হ্যাঁ না,
এটার সাথে মুছে দেওয়া হয় না। এইটা দেখো, এই নোটেশনটা কোনো ইউজ নেই। এইটার থেকে এটাকে কনভার্ট করা হয়েছে কি করে না, এইটার সাথে এটা কানেক্ট করা হয়েছে, এটার সাথে এটা কানেক্ট করা হয়েছে। হ্যালো, বুঝতে পারলে? জাস্ট এটার থেকে এটা আনা হয়েছে অ্যাকচুয়ালি।
এই যে একদম লেফট সাইডের গ্রাফটাকেও আমরা এই বাইপার্টাইট গ্রাফ বলতে পারি?
না, এটা বাইপার্টাইট গ্রাফ না, কারণ এই দুটোর মধ্যে কানেকশন নেই। এই দুটোর মধ্যে কানেকশন আছে। হ্যাঁ, আমাকে দুটো ভার্টেক্স সেটে ভাগ করে ফেলতে হবে such that যে এই দুটো
ইকুইভ্যালেন্ট চিহ্নটা না একটু কেমন মাত্রা।
হ্যাঁ, এই চিহ্নটা তুমি এটাকে কেটে দেবে। এটার থেকে এটা আনা হয়েছে, সেটা বোঝানো হয়েছে। এবং এই আনাটা, এটা অ্যাকচুয়ালি এই আনাটা, this can be done by means of a linear transformation of matrices. Okay, this can be done by means of a linear transformation in matrices. Every graph has some matrix representation. Okay, every graph has some matrix representation. You can convert a graph to a bipartite graph by means of a linear transformation like this, but that is not in in your syllabus. Okay, that is interesting, very much interesting, but that is not in syllabus. But how to convert a graph to a matrix, that is there in your syllabus. Okay, it will come. Now, this has been this graph, bipartite graph. Now see, there is no connection between these sets. Okay, and there is no connection between these two members. So these two members are these are two distinct set in such a manner, but they have connected to each other, but it is not connected to his own set. That's why it is called bipartite graph. And this bipartite graph can be converted to a fully connected graph, okay, by means of this transformation. So I left it. Next is a complete bipartite graph. So bipartite graph, you know, and what is a complete bipartite graph? And this is very easy to understand. This graph is also a complete bipartite graph. That means this graph is also a complete bipartite graph. Okay. So there is m vertices and n vertices here. So a complete bipartite graph is represented by k m comma n, and his vertex sets into V1 with m vertices and V2 with n vertices. Okay, so this is more or less same. Next, there is one theorem. So that maximum number of edges in a simple graph with n vertices is this one. Handshaking theorem tells us that sum of the degrees of vertices of a graph is twice the number of edges. Okay, so now here dv summation means dv1 v2 v3 up to n, and this is equal to twice e. So degree of this, it is a simple graph, so all are connected with, so its maximum degree is n minus 1, n minus 1, n minus 1, n minus 1. So what is the n into n minus 1? And maximum number of edges is n into n minus 1 by 2. So that the number of edges in a complete graph is this. Says given graph is a complete graph. So these two are same, more or less same. Okay, can easily understand. Next one is, if delta G and capital delta, small delta and capital delta G denote the minimum and maximum degree of vertices, then this relationship holds. By handshaking theorem, the sum of the degrees of all vertices is twice e. Let V1 be the vertex whose degree is delta G, that is minimum degree. Every vertex has some degree. It may be any one. Okay, so let that V1 vertex has got this degree delta G, and maximum. So all the sum of the all vertices, sum of the therefore the sum of degrees of all vertices will be greater than delta G plus delta G plus delta G n times. So n into delta G. So twice E will be greater than equal to n into delta G. So delta G will be less than equal to this. So this is hold. This holds. Next, if V2 is the vertex whose degree is maximum, so delta G. So the maximum degree, the sum of all vertices, all degrees of vertices is less than n into delta G. So twice is less than. So here delta G will be greater than. So this holds. This part holds. So connecting these two, we're getting this one. So if it is a k regular graph, so it is nothing but delta G is equal to that is minimum and maximum degree will be same. Okay. Now, this what I told you, that it is a matrix representation of a graph. This is very interesting. Adjacency matrix. Let G is a graph with V, this one. Let us consider an ordered set of all vertices. Then with respect to this ordered set, the adjacency matrix of the graph G is defined as the square matrix Aij. Now, what is called adjacency matrix? Adjacency matrix, you just understood from here, where Ij entry is Aij is the number of edges joining the vertex Vi and Vj. Okay. Mathematically, you can then derive. That means, you see here, this is the graph. You just think over without arrow. Just consider it without arrow. Arrow means something different that I don't want to disclose it here. Okay. Now we make this matrix, and suppose this is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 0. So there are 5 vertices, so 5 columns and 5 rows. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, 0 to 0, there is no vertex. There is no edge from 0 to 0. So 0, 0 is 0. No edge means 0. But from 0 to 1, there is only one edge. So put 1. From 0 to 2, only one edge. So put 1. From 0 to 3, there is no edge. So put 0. From 0 to 4, there is no edge. So put 0. Similarly, 1 to 0. Now, this 1 to 0, this arrow means we have to take from 0 to 1 direction. So this is a digraph. Okay. This is a digraph. So from 1 to 0, there is, if it is, there is no path, there is no arrow, so it will be 0. From 1 to 2, there is one arrow, so from 1 to 2, so it is 1. Okay. From 1 to 4, it is 1. From 1 to 3, it is 0. But if you omit the arrow, that is, it is a simple graph, then 1 to 2 and 2 to 1. So 1 to 2 and 2 to 1, both will be 1. 1 to 2, it is 1, and 2 to 1, it is 0. 2 to 1, it is 0, but it should be 1. This is the difference between a digraph and a simple graph or a graph. Digraph means directed graph, and graph means simple. So the matrix will be different for each type of these graphs. Okay, it will be clear. Next slide. Now push here. This graph also a digraph. This is also a digraph. Okay, so all the elements. Now see, the graph contains no loop. None of the vertex contains any loop, and you see here the diagonal elements are 0. Is that it? So a graph with no loop, so all the principal diagonal elements are 0. And at the same time, this graph does not have any parallel edges. Parallel edges means another edges. So all the elements are of 0 and 1. This you have to remember. This is true for digraph as well as simple other graphs. Next one. This is a graph. You see here is a loop. So A to B, 1, A to C, 1, only one edge, A to D, 1, only one edge, A to E, no edge, 0. Then B to A, one edge, B to B, no, 0. Then B to C, no, 0. B to D, one edge, B to E, one edge, so 1, 1. And from C to A, one edge, C to B, no edge, C to C, no edge, C to D, one edge, C to E, no edge. Then D to A, one edge, D to B, one edge, D to C, one edge, D to B, one edge, D to D. Now D to D is one edge. So this is a loop. So 1, and D to E, 1. Okay. Then E to A, 0. E to B, one edge. E to C, no edge. E to D, one edge. E to E, no edge. So this is the representation of a graph by a matrix. Now here see, this one is not 0 all. This element is 1. So that means it will have one loop. So by seeing the principal elements, you can see there is one loop. There is whether there is a loop or not. Now this is the matrix representation. It may not be square. Okay. This is another, and this is the adjacency matrix. Here you see. This is also undirected graph. A to B, there are 3. So this is A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. A to A, no loop, 0. But A to B, there are 3. So 3. Then A to D, 2. In this way. So number of edges reflection is there in the graph. This is a square graph. Here also you can see in the above 2 multigraphs, these are called multigraphs. We have accounted for parallel edges, and you can see it. Now one of the very important consequence is isomorphism of the 2 graphs. Now isomorphism means, say, suppose there are 2 triangles. Okay. Now if you superimpose one triangle on the other, what will happen? Either all the vertices of the triangle just sit on the vertex of the other triangle. If that's so, then what will happen? The triangles will call is congruent. So the congruency of 2 geometric figure is synonymous to the isomorphism of the graphs. Okay. Now isomorphism is defined in such a manner here. So shape of the curve, shape of the geometric figure remains same in congruency. Okay. Now suppose G1 and G2 are 2 graphs. An isomorphism of G1 and G2, this is a mistake, G1 and G2 is a bijection. Now what is called bijection? Bijection is, that means from the set V1 to the set V2 there is a mapping, such that mapping is 1 1 and 1 2. That means the number of vertices in V1 and number of vertices in V2 will be same. two vertices Vy and Vj, that is Vi and Vj, let it be in V1, are adjacent. Suppose they are adjacent, that means they are side by side vertices, okay, or they are connected by any edge, then their image f of V1 and f of Vj are also adjacent vertex in the graph G2 or in set B2. If this happens, then this is called, these two graphs are isomorphic. Okay, so this is the, both the graphs must have the same number of vertices, both the graph must have the same number of edges. Degree of vertices in isomorphic simple graphs remains invariant. Okay, suppose a degree of Vi and Vj are 2 and 3, then f of Vi will be 2 and f of Vi, degree of this vertex and this vertex will be same. Okay, vertex will be labeled in such a way, but the name of the vertices given must be in accordance with V1, okay, or in accordance with the adjacency matrix. So first you build the matrix, adjacency matrix of V1 of this graph and adjacency matrix of this graph. So you have to keep the adjacency matrix fixed when you transform V1 to V2. Okay. Now these are the, suppose this is a graph and this is another graph. They are, I call it, they are isomorphic. So if suppose f of A goes to 1 and A is connected to G, H and I. A is connected to G, H and I. See here, A goes to 1. Then FB goes to 6. Okay. FC goes to 8. FD goes to 3. Then FG goes to 5. FH goes to 2. And FI goes to 4. And FJ goes to 7. So these two are the picture. Now see, I call it that they are not congruent geometrically, but they are isomorphic here. How? Because A is connected to G, H and I. Here in this figure, 1 is connected to G. G means 5. 1 is connected to 4. 4 means I. And 1 is connected to 2. 2 means H. So the connection, that is adjacency of A, is preserved. Adjacency of A is preserved. Similarly, adjacency of G is preserved. Adjacency of B is preserved. Adjacency of H is preserved. Adjacency of C is preserved. Adjacency of I is preserved. Similarly, that means all the vertex and its adjacency are preserved under this mapping. So you have to designate in such a manner that adjacency is preserved. And whatever, if this can be done, then the two graph is called isomorphic to each other. This is a very nice concept. Okay. Now, this is another illustration. These two graphs are isomorphic, and you see their adjacency matrix is same. Okay. Next one is, this is your assignment. You have to draw a graph which is regular but not complete. Okay. You have to draw two graphs of order 5 so that they are isomorphic to each other. You have to draw two graphs order 5. That means number of order 5. So what is order, you know, and they must be isomorphic. And you have to find out the ring sum of these following two graphs. Okay. So this is your assignment. And that's the end of today's class. Okay. I'm just sending it to you within few minutes.
Sir,
Bolo?
sir, we did not get the recording of the previous class. So you told us that you will give.
I have sent this material.
Sir, we got only the PPT, sir. Only the PPT, sir.
Okay, I'll give it today. Today I'll just.
Please give the recording also. It will help us.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Now you can leave now. I'm just sending you everything. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, sir.